Have you ever felt like your life is on pause while everyone else is moving forward? Like you're just waiting for the right moment, the right motivation, or some miracle that never seems to arrive? This is the story of a boy who realized something powerful one ordinary morning, that waiting was costing him his entire future. Rohan was 19 and tired in a way sleep could never fix. He lived in a crowded town where mornings were always loud with bicycle bells, shop shutters, and parents rushing their children to school. From the outside, Rohan looked completely normal, but on the inside, he felt lost. Every single night, he promised himself, tomorrow will be different. And every single morning, he broke that promise. He wanted success. He dreamed of confidence, respect, and freedom. He pictured himself standing tall, proving everyone wrong. But when it came time to actually act, he just scrolled on his phone, slept late, and said the same sentence over and over again. I'll start tomorrow. Tomorrow became next week. Next week became next year. He was trapped in a cycle of good intentions and zero action. One afternoon, Rohan failed an important entrance test. It wasn't because he wasn't smart. It was because he hadn't prepared. As he walked home holding the rejection letter, something inside him finally cracked. He sat on a bench near an old railway track, just watching the trains rush past, one after another, never stopping. He whispered to himself, they don't stop. I do. He felt a profound sense of failure, not just for the test, but for the life he was letting slip by. That evening, Rohan met someone unexpected. Near his house lived an old woman named Shanta Auntie, known for waking up before sunrise every single day. Rain or shine, she was always up, always moving. People in the neighborhood often laughed at her routine. What's the point at this age, I'd say. That night, Rohan saw her sweeping her small porch calmly, with a quiet focus. He approached her, half joking and half bitter, and asked, Auntie, why do you work so hard every day? Doesn't it get boring? She smiled and said something that would change his life forever. Boring is easy, beta. Regret is heavy. Those three words hit him like a ton of bricks. Boring is easy, but regret is heavy. She invited him to sit and poured him a cup of tea. Then she said, when I was young, I waited for motivation. I waited for confidence. I waited for life to be easy. And you know what happened? Years passed. Now, I don't wait. I just move even when I don't feel like it. Rohan went home feeling restless. That night, he didn't scroll through his phone. He didn't distract himself with videos or music. He just thought. He replayed her words in his mind. What if the problem wasn't laziness? What if the real problem was waiting for motivation instead of just acting without it? What if he had it all backwards? The next morning, something small happened, a tiny shift. Rohan woke up 20 minutes earlier, not 2 hours. It wasn't some dramatic movie-like transformation, just 20 minutes. He made his bed, he drank a glass of water. He walked outside while the sky was still quiet and the world was just beginning to stir. It felt uncomfortable. It felt awkward. It almost felt pointless, but he did it again the next day, and the next. After a week of this small routine, he added 15 minutes of focused study. No phone, no excuses, just him and his books. Some days he failed. Some days he wanted to quit and go back to his old ways. But instead of stopping completely, he learned to reduce the effort and just keep going. 5 push-ups instead of 20, 10 minutes of studying instead of 1 hour. He replaced the idea of perfection with the power of progress. He realized that doing something was always better than doing nothing. Months passed. Rohan didn't become famous. He didn't become rich overnight. No magical transformation happened, but something else did. Something much more profound. He became reliable to himself. His posture changed. He started walking taller. His confidence grew, not in a loud or arrogant way, but quietly from within. His mind became sharper. He was no longer just a dreamer. He was a doer. One day, a new opportunity appeared, a competitive program with very limited seats. It required physical tests, written exams, and a high level of discipline. Act K. They scrambled to prepare, stressed and overwhelmed. Rohan didn't. Not because he was fearless, but because his daily habits had already trained him for pressure. He had been building his discipline brick by brick, day after day. When the results came out, Rohan was selected. He didn't scream or celebrate wildly. He just smiled, a quiet, knowing smile, because he knew the truth. This wasn't luck. This wasn't a miracle. This was alignment. His actions had finally aligned with his ambitions. Later that evening, he went to visit Shanta Auntie. He found her on her porch, just as before. He said, "You were right. Regret is heavy. Action is lighter." She laughed softly, her eyes twinkling. "In action," she said, "repeated daily, becomes destiny." If this story connected with you, just pause for a second. What is that one thing you keep putting off until tomorrow? Like this video if you believe that small, consistent habits can change big lives. Subscribe if you want more stories that push you forward, especially when your motivation fades. And please, share this with someone who keeps saying, "I'll start tomorrow," because maybe I just need this reminder today. Years later, when people would ask Rohan for his secret, he would tell them this: you don't need confidence to start. You don't need motivation to move. You don't need perfect conditions to begin. You only need one small action done again tomorrow. Your future is not waiting for you to feel ready. It's waiting for you to start anyway. Start small, start scared, but start today. Because the moment you stop waiting, life starts moving with you. Thank you for watching.